Coming up in this edition of the Arcade Corner, we're going to be checking out another Capcom classic that we've yet to touch on, Mega Man The Power Battle. It's been a bit of a long time coming for this one. Mega Man Power Battle was first released in 1995 in the arcades in Japan. Sadly, the cabinets never made it over to the West. It wasn't until 2004 that Power Battle and its sequel, which we will touch on at a later date hopefully, finally was ported to home consoles in the West as part of the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. Be that as it may, let's take a look at the first game. Mega Man Power Battle technically is considered a fighting game, though not the kind you might be thinking. Unlike Street Fighter, the gameplay actually sticks to that of how a Mega Man game usually plays. With your basic jumping and shooting like so, and depending on who you play as, you can either slide or dash. Also in this game, you can do a little bit of wall jumping as well as doing a high jump in order to avoid obstacles. At the start of the game, you have a choice between either Mega Man, Proto Man, or Bass. In two-player mode, instead of fighting each other, which they should at least have given the option to do so, you will instead team up to tackle all the Robot Masters together. After selecting your hero, you have a choice as to what mode you wish to play. You can take on Robot Masters from Mega Man's 1 and 2, 3 to 6, or 7. After defeating all Robot Masters, you then travel to Wily's tower where you fight another boss before taking on Wily himself. And that's pretty much it for the most part. It's rather short but yet sweet, and it's fun to come back to time and again. For the sake of this episode, I'll give a rundown of who you all face and what the best strategy is for each one. Keep in mind that with each Robot Master you fight in any order, the first opponent will have the smallest life bar, and the last one will have the biggest life bar. With that, here's your set of opponents for Mega Man 1 and 2 mode. Let's begin. Gutsman's pattern isn't that difficult to get around if you time your jumps right. He'll mostly be just throwing boulders at you and occasionally dash at you. Some well-timed charge shots, and if by some chance you face him later on happen to have his weakness, Crash Bomber will do the job as well. Woodsman likes to jump around a lot. A well-timed charge shot can knock him back and off balance. Watch out for his leaf shield, as no attacks will hurt him until he fires leaves back at you. Thankfully, it's easier to dodge compared to actually fighting him in the original game of Mega Man 2. If you have his weakness, Atomic Fire, you can charge up and let loose when you have a clear shot. Otherwise, charge shot him to victory. Crash Man's only attack is his crash bombs. On the floor, they do no damage. It's only when they explode are they a pain. Time your jumps carefully while also avoiding him as he jumps around through the chutes. If you have the rolling cutter, make sure to quickly cut him and his bombs to pieces. Cutman does what he always does best, jumps around and throws his cutter in boomerang fashion. Though Leaf Shield is his weakness here, Super Arm is another weapon of choice to knock him off balance and not give him any chance to attack. Watch your jumps and he'll go down quick. Heatman's fire attacks can sometimes be difficult to avoid. Super Arm can help knock him back a bit, though the true weapon of choice would be the Ice Slasher. Otherwise, persevere as best you can until his flame is put out. Iceman can conjure up ice storm clouds while shooting his projectiles at you. The weapon of choice here? Super Arm. Yes, this one is actually weak to it. Go nuts with it and give him no quarter. With all the Robot Masters down, let's tackle Wily's tower. Oh god, this guy, Yellow Devil. Always sucked fighting him in the original games. But not this time. Super Arm is your best friend here, so target the guy and let him have it. Just don't let him grab you and sling you across the room. And now it comes down to Wily himself. He'll have 3 forms to contend with. In his first form, watch for his hands and attack his bottom half. Rolling Cutter is his weakness for all 3 forms, but it might be wise to save it for later in the fight, and instead use either the Buster or other weapons. In his second form, jump and start firing away your cutter and keep your distance in case he tries to either charge at you or shoot electricity at you. In his third and final form, if you have enough power left, see if you can hit him and drain the last bit of energy from him as he simply just teleports around until the timer runs out. Even if you don't succeed, you got him either way, as Wily's conquest is once again brought to an abrupt end. I personally like to see him groveling at my feet begging for mercy. And that's Mega Man Power Battle from start to finish. Each character has his own ending. Even in 2-player mode, the character endings will still be the same, so not much change there. But we're not quite done yet. We still have 2 other sets of courses to check out. So let's get a new game going and hop into the 3 through 6 mode. Gyroman? 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 Sorry, I'm going to call him Gyroman for the sake of this review. If I get it wrong, please correct me in the comments. Anyways, his blades can be tricky to dodge sometimes, but his pattern's not that bad. If you have Napalm Bomb, you'll have to get close to get a good shot at him. Otherwise, stick to your Buster and watch where he flies to, and you'll soon have him down before you know it. Gemini Man. In this game, he isn't nearly as hard as he might be within the original game of Mega Man 3. His laser attack does still bounce off walls and the floor, and he does still have a split form of himself. Time your jumps and fire away using the Buster or the Magnet Missile if you have it. Magnet Man can be another tricky one. He will hop around and shoot multiple magnet shots down on you from above. He will also use his magnetic field to absorb shots and suck you in. If you have the Dust Crusher, it will be your saving grace. With the fighting area being a little bit smaller, it can be tricky taking him on. Dustman will hop around and do one of two things, either suck you in or smack you point blank with a clumsy jump. Hopefully you have Plant Barrier or you might not be walking away from this fight clean. Napalm Man will mostly dash at you before shooting a couple of missiles at you. Take him down quick using your Gemini lasers. I consider Plant Man to be the toughest of the bunch, especially if he is the last robot master you fight. Similar to Leaf Shield, Plant Barrier can do some serious damage if you aren't careful. While he has it active, he will also plant little seeds to grow little versions of himself, as well as shoot his own shots at you. When you have a clear shot, fire at him with Gyro Attack. Once again, we're fighting Yellow Devil for a second time. Only this time, he may act a little bit differently compared to before. After doing enough damage to his eye, he will split into 3 smaller versions of himself with horns. 2 will jump to the ceiling, while the third one will jump around throwing projectiles at you. Focus on that one with Gyro Attack. Once Yellow Devil forms back to his original size, finish his eye off quick. Wily will use the same machine in same forms as before, only in the first form, he'll try and move his hands up and down in his bulky form. In his second form, it's about the same as before as well with his electricity attacks, and will sometimes throw his spinning tops at you. Dust Crusher will be your go-to weapon for this fight. His final form will be the same as he just becomes a moving target, and once again, you have 9 seconds to finish him off. You win either way. And finally, let's tackle Course 7. Shade Man will fly around and swoop down at you, while sometimes landing to throw his projectiles at you along with crash noise. If you happen to have his weakness, that being Slash Claw, you'll have to get in close to him as it's a short-range weapon. Otherwise, use your Buster and time your jumps. With him being as tall as he is, Junkman will do short hops around and occasionally fire off a projectile at you. He'll also compile a large hunk of junk to shove at you against the wall. He can be a tough customer with how quick he is, so if you have Thunderstrike, you'll have a much better time here. Freeze Man will walk back and forth, sometimes jumping around while occasionally raining down icicles on you. You can either go to the charged Buster route, which will not give him much chance to strike, or you can lay waste to him quickly using the Junk Shield. Go with your best method. Cloudman will fly around throwing bolts of lightning at you while using the rainy winds to blow you off course. The lightning will hit the ground and shoot out 4 more electric projectiles left and right. Time your jumps right and wait for him to be within range before trying to shoot him down. If you have Burning Wheel, time the attack right and burn him to smithereens. Oh boy, Slash Man. This guy loves to jump around and dive bomb at you with his claws. At times, he will also toss out a couple of bombs that contain sticky gel that will hold you in place for a few seconds if you happen to get caught up in it. Freeze Cracker will take care of him quickly if you time your shots right. This little transformer known as Turbo Man will turn into a car to try and run you down. When he's not a car, he'll jump up high and throw a huge flaming wheel at you that will spread out into 4 flames that cover the area, making it tricky to dodge. He'll also try to suck you in using its engines. Crash Noise is your go-to weapon here, as you can bounce a wave off the wall and back to you to charge it up before letting him have it. Let's take on Wily's Tower one more time. What's this? It's not Yellow Devil this time? Actually, this mech pumpkin is more annoying to fight than the Yellow Devil. It can only be harmed when its core is shown as it shoots spread projectiles your way. Otherwise, it'll hop around trying to crush you. Thunderstrike or Slash Claw will work on this mech, though I would go more with Thunderstrike here. It might take a little bit to wear him down, so watch your health here, so you're going to need it for the final fight ahead. Wily will once again use the same 3 forms of his machine, only the difficulty is more revved up than before. In his first form, his hands will constantly be moving up and down trying to keep his constant guard up from your attacks, while occasionally trying to crush you. In his second form, he'll be throwing his tops at you a lot more than using his electric attacks. Slash Claw is what you should use to try and take him down quick. Although, if you can, try and save some more for his final form when you try and bring him to his knees before time is up. And with that, this will conclude the entirety of Mega Man Power Battle. It's a fun time now and again, and hopefully we'll get to covering the sequel in the near future. Meantime, thank you so much for watching this edition of the Arcade Corner. This might be the last episode I will be covering for a little while, since I got a little one to look after myself. Hope to have some more for you in the near future, so until then, this is ArcLad saying take care and keep on gaming. Till next time.